Vessar to tip it off against Samet Yigitolu. Yigitolu's a good-looking player. If you haven't seen him, was recruited, in fact, by North Carolina and decided to come to SMU. The Tar Heels control the opening tip. And with the basketball, Kyan Evans, a transfer from Colorado State. Vessar and Wilson, the two primary scorers for the Tar Heels. And Boopie Miller, an instant takeaway. Lays it off for Washington.
There you are. We talked about transition, especially off the turnover out front. I thought Evans was really surveying things. Boopie Miller with the quick hands.
Trimble just back after missing almost a month with a broken right forearm. Returned against Ohio State in that 1-point win. The double team on Wilson, and he traveled.
And it's not just the fact it's a double team, it's a big double team, but there's the look. Boopie Miller just keeping his eyes on the basketball, and they really transition well. Good finish down at the other end for Corey Washington.
You pointed out already this transition game for SMU. The Mustangs average 91 points per game, 15th best in the country, second best in the ACC, and a Carolina takeaway. Wilson
just took off too far away from the basket that time.
Washington for three, and Wilson with a rebound.
Yeah, this is, I think, both teams would like to play at pace, so they're going to fall into that very comfortably.
Little give and go there, and a miss, followed by Wilson. Carolina's first bucket.
Yeah, Vessar is very mobile, can shoot the three, gets to the basket, does a lot of screen roll, getting into the rim.
Yeah, the only game Carolina lost this year against Michigan State, they were leading that game, and then Vessar went out in foul trouble. And Michigan State took advantage, went on a 18-6 run and never looked back.
And they had some size also, and also very physical Tom Izzo teams as usual.
Trimble into the lane, jump stop, and off the glass.
He pump faked so many times, everybody left him, and the guy with the ball is usually pretty important. You want to try and stay with him.
Vessar spent 3 seasons in Arizona, and boy, has he blossomed into one of the best big men in all of America through the first nearly 2 months of the season.
And I tell you, if Yigitolu can put some pressure on him defensively, get him out of the game like what happened in Michigan State, that'd be huge for SMU.
Going coast to coast, Yigitolu with a rejection and bumped out of bounds. It'll belong to the Mustangs. Foul on Vessar.
And that's a cheap foul, one you don't want having, your big guy pick up. And Yigitolu, that's an area that he needed to improve on from last year, Tom, that rim protection, and he'd had a great reaction on that play. But for Vessar to pick up that foul in that situation, that's a waste of a foul.
4-2 Carolina early on here in Dallas, Texas. Yigitolu with a rebound. Up with the left hand. Can't get the roll, and knocked out of bounds by Vessar. It'll belong to SMU.
And you can see Vessar had to lay off that initial shot. He really couldn't be as aggressive defensively, not wanting to pick up that second 17-minute mark.
Mustangs hit their first shot. They've gone 0 for 5 since. Hubert Davis, 55 years young, a native of Burke, Virginia, and now his 5th year at North Carolina. They reached the first 4 in Dayton, Ohio last year, beat San Diego State, and then eliminated in the official opening round by Ole Miss, 71-64. Yigitolu, I tell you, he's got a chance.
And they should be feeding him all the time here early on. There's not much Vessar can do defensively. And that's an automatic. Get him with 2 feet in the paint.
Evans coming off his best game as a Tar Heel, hit 5 3-pointers in the rout of Florida State. And that will be a bump on Jaron Pierre Jr.
There's the look, and that's a great post feed. And as a big guy, when you can catch with both feet in the paint area, that's just a huge advantage he had. Bassar on his back just went to work.
Forced shot there, and there's been a whole lot of that of late from Luka Bogovac.
He's really struggled, and that's a tough way to break out. Wow! Think about breaking out to the rim.
That? He is some kind of fun to watch. Boopie Miller, 2 years at Central Michigan, 1 year at Wake, and now his second year at SMU, and he is the undisputed leader along with this guy right here, B.J. Edwards of this SMU team. Edwards, a reigning ACC Player of the Week, coming off his second double-double of the year. Kicks it to Miller. Bang!
And that's a part of the game that really is expanded for Boopie Miller. 42% from three.
7-0 run for the Mustangs.
Well, here's the quickness we talk. Team undefeated, beating a Wilt Chamberlain Kansas team in triple overtime.
And you went toe-to-toe with Dean. He recruited you to come to North Carolina.
Yes, he did. And when I chose Duke, he actually wrote me a very heartfelt letter congratulating me and saying looking forward to competing against me. It was unbelievable class by him.
Oh, yeah, all the way. Sarr cross court. This has not been a good three-point shooting North Carolina team. 3-second violation. That's one thing teams, I would assume, Mike Chiminski, are going to start packing it in and forcing the Tar Heels to beat them from downtown.
Yeah, and that's, they addressed the height issue, and we've talked about that, but their three-point shooting a little sluggish this year, slow to get off, especially like Wilson and, those, I'm going to play off of them and make them beat me over the top.
Igutolu working on Bassar, and he couldn't finish around the basket. They said he's been much better.
Well, and he's getting great looks, just in a little bit of a rush that time. Interesting, Caleb Wilson out of the game here early on.
Well, Wilson, for as much production as he has had, averaging 20 points and 11 rebounds, he only plays 30 minutes a game. I say only 30. There are a number of players for both teams that are playing in excess of 32, 34.
Well, especially SMU. Their starting five are going to play the bulk of the minutes in this game.
Looked like Stevenson got bumped in the face, but he got the rebound and was able to clear it out of there, as he is checked in for Wilson. Rejected by Jaden Toombs, a freshman out of Amarillo, Texas. And at the other end, it's another freshman.
Yeah, this team they've got a lot of veteran presence, and they've also got 5 young guys, 5 freshmen, a really highly touted freshman class.
Another takeaway, and here comes B.J. Edwards. And how about that? The alley-oop to Pierre Jr.
And you know what was great about that? He knew he couldn't dunk. He didn't go for the highlight, so he just got the 2 points. Smart play.
An 11-0 run for SMU. They trail this game 4-2 and now lead 13-4. Smothering defense by the Mustangs. In the corner and needing that one, Carolina. That's Derek Dixon, the freshman out of Vienna, Virginia.
Good movement around against that zone. You got a nice look down in the corner.
Neither one of these teams goes particularly long on that bench. Shorter still for SMU. Toombs, a long three, not going to be there. And quickly at the other end and laying it home is Jaron Stevenson, transfer from Alabama. And an offensive foul will go against Boopie Miller. How about Stevenson? He laid the ball in and then draws a charge.
Well, and Stevenson has had an impact on this game since he's come in. And here's the look ahead, and very good running the floor. Took a spill right then, but then just getting right back into the play. Didn't get a good look at that tumble, but it looked like Miller just tried to back into him. But for right now, Stevenson and Wilson may be a better combination than Vassar and Wilson just because of that early foul.
Stevenson is a former North Carolina High School Player of the Year. He played for his father, Jared, in Pittsboro, North Carolina. Elected to go to Alabama for 2 years, and now his first year at UNC. Jonathan Powell, the former Ohio Division I Player of the Year. Shot clock violation on the air ball. Just had to chuck it up there. Was Dixon.
And that was his responsibility. It looked like he was not aware of the shot clock that time. Point guard's got to have that awareness.
After the 11-0 run, it's a 5-0 swing for North Carolina. Into the game, Jermaine O'Neal Jr. Yes, his father played 18 years in the NBA, and he is coming off a monster game. Had 21 points in 20 minutes against Cal State Fullerton.
Yeah, but Pierre Jr. is stepping up, and we talked about Boopie Miller, but Pierre just under 19 points a game, so he's a big-time offensive weapon.
Foul underneath. 15-9, SMU in front. Mustangs. Look at the ACC and bowl games after both SMU and Wake Forest won their games last night. Big Ten, the only conference better. Of course, the ACC with Miami left. The Big Ten has Oregon and Indiana left. For the SEC, one team left. Interesting SEC with all the hype and all the talk about that league.
Yep,
4-9 and 2-7 when they're not playing another SEC team.
So good, just hoping Miami can finish the deal.
Well, they had to run that. Showing those highlights against the Buckeyes.
Yeah, I know that hurt you.
It did, but my son is a student at Indiana, so fired up for him.
Yes, sir.
Washington hits 1 of 2 full court pressure for the first time by North Carolina.
Stevenson doing a nice job on the front of that press and a timeout. Great job by North Carolina. Didn't look like SMU was ready for that.
Well, without Boopie Miller on the floor there, they looked very unsure of who was going to handle the ball against that pressure. Next week, CW courtside Saturday, back with another doubleheader. Boston College heads to Louisville to try and take down the Cardinals. Cardinals lost last night out at Stanford.
Yep.
And then you and I will be in Charlottesville to see the Cardinals take on number 21 Virginia. Our doubleheader next week starts at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, only on the CW.
Well, how about Ryan Odom coming in Virginia, and the unbelievable Hall of Fame run that Tony Bennett had, and Ryan stepped right in and made his presence felt.
They lost that killer game to their rival Virginia Tech last weekend, but Virginia bouncing back in a big way over NC State earlier today.
You were talking about SMU without Miller, and he plays 35, 36 minutes a game, so they're not used to not having him out on the floor.
Well, DJ Edwards is not a point guard, but he's handling the basketball now, working on the much taller Stevenson, and draws a foul. BJ Edwards will head to the free throw line.
It's funny. When they say combo guard, I always say the guy's a scorer who will pass if somebody's open. But a combo guard he's looking to score the ball first.
It's a very good free throw shooting team. Kickoff 26 with the NXT New Year's Evil on the CW. Superstars of NXT collide in a night built for action. That's Tuesday right here on the CW. 72% free throw shooter is B.J. Edwards, and he missed the second.
SMU, one of the better free throw shooting teams in the country.
Yeah, as a team, a whopping 77%. Desar still out there, one foul. And Caleb Wilson is checked back into the game for North Carolina. Shot clock at 5. Trimble will pull up for the jumper and drain it.
You know, we talked to Hubert Davis before the game, and he says Seth Trimble has worked his way back in seamlessly. And you know what? With his injury, he was able to work out a lot through that healing process. So it wasn't like a lower extremity injury where your conditioning goes.
Look out if this guy heats up. Jaron Pierre Jr., he's a reigning Conference USA Player of the Year from Jacksonville State. He averaged 22 a game. Wilson in trouble. Great feed on the cut to the basket by Jonathan Powell.
Great basket cut and good pass, good vision out of the double team inside.
Toombs' second try from 3. How about that? Big fella. First 2 3-point tries of the season in this game.
I don't know if Andy Enfield had a few anxious moments while that one was in the air. But
oh my, how sweet was that by Wilson in the hang time.
Yeah, and he really kind of shot that on the way down. Just incredible athleticism.
3 at the other end. Boy, things heating up. That's Corey Washington.
4-7 now, SMU from behind the arc, also doing well and points off turnovers early in this game.
Trimble, big strong body, came up short and then tipped it in.
That's where he's at his best. And if he can get into the lane area and draws contact and finish through contact, very strong.
Toombs in the lane, lost a handle, then the jump hook from the freshman, Jaden Toombs, 5 off the bench.
And that's just a couple points below his average, boy. But you know what? We talk about maybe the lack of size for SMU. If he can get going in the ACC regular season, huge lift.
Well, he was a huge recruit. 4th-ranked recruiting class in the country. Bessard can't finish, and Edwards able to come out with a basketball. 27-19.
That's a shot that, when a guy is rolling and seeing a big basket, you don't mind if you're a coach.
Sigutolu checks back in for SMU. Bogovac returns for the Tar Heels.
Bogavac's a guy who, when Trimble went out, really stepped in and played very, very well. Has struggled over his last 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, in fact, he's had game totals of 2 points, 2 points, 15, and then shut out in the last game, the win over Florida State. Powell had to hurry a 3 with a shot clock down to 4.
The zone by SMU has been very effective against North Carolina in the half court.
Sam Walters, number 4, checks in, a transfer from Michigan. Edwards pulls up, not there, and out of bounds. It belongs to North Carolina. Quiet start for Caleb Wilson. He's been limited to 4 so far in this one.
By getting the ball inside and then finding guys out on the perimeter, spotting up Miller in the corner that time. Good look there, and Ugatulu's helping out by keeping that presence inside a little bit. And, it looks like North Carolina has challenged SMU to take those shots, and they've stepped up.
Yeah, the combination of Wilson and Bessar have combined for 6 points and so far 7 rebounds. And of course, you're talking about a duo that accounts for 45% of North Carolina's scoring and 48% of its rebounding.
Well, I think, there are a lot of eyes on Wilson when he gets the ball, and there's a lot of help defensively. But for Bessar and Ugatulu, it's been pretty straight up inside. I think that Bessar, he's got an opportunity to be a little bit more aggressive in this stretch of the game.
Bogavac, that's a big one for him. He needed that from a confidence standpoint, only shooting 31% from 3. Hubert Davis continues to say we're a good shooting team. They just haven't done it yet. And he's convinced that as the season goes on, guys like Ian Evans, Bogavac, those two in particular, will shoot it better.
Well, I have yet to meet a coach, Tom, that says, boy, my team is average to poor shooting. We really struggle.
Yeah, we stink.
You want to be that positive voice in their ear.
Well, when's the last time you heard we can't score in an empty gym,
we're terrible.
Right?
Yeah, it's awful.
Well, they got a mismatch somewhere. And up with a shot clock, not realizing where it was, and Carolina back the other way, trailing by 6. Wilson working on Waters. Hang time. Oh my, from Caleb Wilson.
That's as much as you can do defensively against him, and he just beats you with a better shot.
Will fade away. How about that at the other end by Miller?
Well, you can tell, though, can't you, Tom? Him on the floor is such a marked difference in SMU and how they execute. Here's the look. Walters right now, he's coming off a very tough ankle injury, getting back into shape. But, that's as good as you can do. And then you get Ugatulu coming in for the help, and he still hits the shot.
3 buckets for Wilson out of Atlanta, Georgia. Went 22-16. Oh, and by the way, he had 6 assists, 2 blocks. First Tar Heel freshman ever to lead the team in all 4 categories in a game. That's ever. They've had some pretty good freshmen through the years in Chapel Hill.
One of the records he beat was by Phil Ford.
Yep.
Number 23 wasn't bad as a freshman there either.
So they've had a lot of good ones. But this guy right here is going to break all of the freshman records. Good Lord willing, he stays healthy. And that's a travel second one of those. Wilson saying he was fouled before the travel.
They gave him a clear out on the left-hand side. Look at here, Tom, and he got hung up. He picked up his dribble. He tried to get up too much real estate that time. That was another sound. They're playing him pretty well defensively.
6th turnover already for North Carolina. And you see 6 points off the turnovers for the Mustangs. Miller pulls up, got the screen, and it's off the mark. 6-point game with 5:50 to go until halftime.
Carolina really big out on the floor on that front line now with Stevenson back in the game.
And he promptly must have heard you. Jaron Stevenson drains a 3.
And you know what? And you challenge him. Shooting 16% from 3 on the year. So, go ahead, make a couple, and then we'll change up a little bit. He's been terrific.
And that was a guy that Hubert Davis told us before the game. He said, I am really, really high on Jaron Stevenson. We asked him, is there a guy, not named Wilson who dunks it home and he leads the nation in doing that? And a timeout by Andy Enfield. Carolina's drawn within 1. They were down 9 just a moment ago. A 10-2 North Carolina run with 5:18 to go until halftime. And after the Wilson bucket, it's a 1-point game. I'd like to remind you tomorrow, CW women's basketball returns. Cal goes to Raleigh to take on ACC heavyweight NC State. CW women's hoops tomorrow, 2 Eastern, 1 Central, 11 Pacific.
Well, this is an interesting lineup that North Carolina has. Probably the biggest one that they can put out on the floor. And, you know, Bogovac, that was kind of an oops lob that play. It looked like he lost it than anything else. But when you got Caleb Wilson on the other end of it, he's going to clean up a lot. Things evened up there, Tom. And I tell you what, it's been a fairly clean game. Only 4 free throws combined shot in this first half.
So we're at the closing in on the 5-minute mark until halftime. Kind of game we figured. Up and down. Chance of a high-scoring game. And it's a 1-point game. Pierre Jr. working on Stevenson.
Nice defense on that play.
Trimble kicks it out. Vassar can shoot it from there. Carolina with a lead.
Yeah, that's his thing. You have to identify him as a trailer. He just walked right into that wide open 3.
He is better than a 50% free three-point shooter. And yes, he's a 7-footer. Trying to answer and able to do so is Pierre.
That is a guy knowing where his teammate is spotting up. I mean, Miller made that one-arm whip pass from about 35 feet away.
Pierre in Washington. And there's the rebound by Yigitolu.
I tell you, if you're a defender, you're breathing a sigh of relief. You get him to settle for that jump shot.
So a timeout on the floor. Just under 4 minutes.
Tom, we talked about it, how it seems like he's having a so-so game, but they have played him well defensively, and he has made some unbelievable shots against that. And I think that's the best you can hope for against a player of that caliber, is to make him work for his points. There you see the season numbers, unbelievable. And you know what? For all that we've said, but by the end of the afternoon, he's going to be close or above those numbers.
Yep. Corey Washington to the free throw line. Talked about SMU, how good the Mustangs have been from the free throw line. 77% as a team, yet just 1 for 3 at the stripe today.
This is a team that in this day and age, they don't get a ton of production from the three-point line, but in this game, 5 of 10, it's been very friendly for them.
By the way, a moment ago, that was the freshman, rarely used freshman, B.J. Davis-Ray, who came off the bench to hit that 3. He wears number 9 for the Mustangs. He's in the game right now. And how about Stevenson and what he's done off the bench?
Well, with Vassar with the 2 fouls, his production has been so valuable in this first half. Outstanding.
He leads the Tar Heels with 9, and he averages 6 points per game. How about that crossover by Pierre? And he draws a foul in the paint. But now all of a sudden, Stevenson has just picked up his 2nd foul, and is Hubert Davis going to stay with him? I think that Hubert thought that foul should have been called on Jaden Young rather than Stevenson.
Zayden High is going to come off the bench. He's the last big body they have to resort to on the bench.
Yigitolu kicks it out to Washington. That's off the mark. And North Carolina the rebound. Tar Heels lead by 1 with under 3 to go. Trimble just so savvy. First 2 years as a backup, whistle away from the ball. Not sure why. Stevenson with those 2 fouls will lead.
Well, Washington for SMU went over. I don't know what happened, if he had a cramp or whatever on his leg, but he immediately walked over to the bench.
Yeah, and he's now down at the end of the bench. Medical folks taking a look at him. Shot clock at 3. Wilson by himself has it rejected. Shot clock at 1.3 for the Tar Heels.
Pierre Jr., nice job stepping in. I tell you what, Yugitolo, that's not a position he's used to defending. Did a nice job of staying in front of Wilson.
In and out. SMU with a chance to recapture the lead. The Mustangs have led most of this half, and they have the lead.
That's an all-or-nothing play for Wilson. Either you get the steal or what you saw as the result.
Bogabots with a shot clock down to 11. He's going to let it fly and not going to go, but the offensive rebound to Trimble. And right off the bench and right into the scoring column goes Zayden High, the sophomore out of San Antonio, Texas.
How about Stevenson and High? The stars of the first half for North Carolina.
No kidding. We have rarely called Vassar's name in this half. He has 5. Pierre Jr. and too strong. Wilson rips away the rebound and he leads a break. 3-on-3. Trimble bumped in the paint. And Edwards with a rebound. 4-on-4 coming the other way, and Edwards to the glass with a left hand.
And that is one thing that North Carolina had taken away from a stretch. They kept SMU out of the open floor, but his own guy was like a pulling guard setting a screen on that play on the run.
Down to 41 seconds until halftime. Shot clock at 11. Looking for Wilson, and you can book it. It's going up. Nope, going to swing it to Trimble for 3. Bang for Trimble, a rare 3-pointer for the senior from Wisconsin. Only his 5th of the year. Of course, he's only playing in his 6th game. North Carolina by 2, a final try. Miller thought about going to the basket. Gets a screen, now will go to the basket. How about Boopie Miller? At the buzzer, and we are in a 39-all affair.
Great start by SMU. Carolina comes back in, and welcome to the first game of the ACC for the Mustangs.
Good stuff. Stay tuned for our halftime show presented by Subaru. Love, it's what makes Subaru. Have some of the highlights from this one. We'll recap our earlier game. Clemson and Pitt saddle up, though. Maybe catch your breath, because this could be a great finish in Dallas, Texas. The Tar Heels and
second half.
Vassar had 5 first-half points to go along with 4 rebounds. Wilson had 8 and 5 boards. But the big story was off the bench for North Carolina, led by Jaron Stevenson's 9.
Leading scorer of the game for North Carolina. And that's what you, frankly, in the course of 18 games, you're going to need production like that, guys, to step up. Vassar had some foul issues, and he really filled in admirably.
Going right to Yugitolu, tried to, and that was deflected by Wilson. And that'll be a reach-in foul. It'll go against Kyan Evans.
Well, the defense with Yigitolo is interesting. They got Wilson playing him, and then Vassar coming in as a big double team.
Saying Washington was in the act of shooting there. So he'll go to the line where he's 1 of 2, 86% on the year. And how about that? He has missed 2 out of 3, an 86% free throw shooter on the season.
And but that's again a big key for North Carolina, limiting the amount of, you don't want, SMU at the line 20, 25 times during the course of the game.
Andy Enfield in his 2nd season as SMU's head coach. They had an excellent first year in the Atlantic Coast Conference, won 24 games while losing 11, finished in a 4-way tie for 2nd, got beat in the 2nd round of the Atlantic Coast Conference tournament by Clemson.
Normally a bad decision by Vassar that time, and then he compounds it. He picks up his 3rd foul on the other end, Tom. Here's the look. I mean, you've got to be smart, and you're not going to get this block. Just let it go. I know you're trying to atone for the mistake on the other end, but you just compound it.
Well, number 3, and no move to the bench, at least not yet. By Hubert Davis, we are not even. And Washington has missed his 3rd free throw in 5 attempts in the game.
That's your fault, I think. You were the one who brought it up.
I did. I jinxed a field goal kicker at the Snoop Bowl, so may as well get the free throw shooters too. Crowd wanted to walk on both Bogavats and on Evans. Shot clock down to 1, having to fire up a 3, and how about that Trimble? He's a leading scorer for the Tar Heels. His 2nd 3, he has 10.
A really good defensive stand for about 29.5 seconds by SMU. North Carolina has made some tough shots in tough situations.
Tied at 42, and breaking the tie on the long ball is Washington.
He's just got to stay off the free throw line.
No kidding.
It's a tougher shot. Well, he was the one who went over to the bench at the end of that first half. I don't know if he had cramps. It looks like he's gotten things solved physically.
Washington, a transfer from Wichita State, where he had 9 double-doubles a season ago, averaged 14 a game, and there's a takeaway for the Mustangs, trying to add to a 3-point lead, and that's a silly pass right there by Edwards. Evans for 3. And we're tied at 45. His first 3 of the game after hitting 5 against Florida State.
He's a guy who doesn't get to the free throw line much, but if he can step up in ACC play and be a reliable 3-point shooter, it's going to be a big way. It's going to open up things inside.
Miller, a little fade away. Boy, how sweet is his game.
There are some guys making some tough shots in this game.
Boopie Miller now has 11. Yigitolo whistled for the foul.
Hey, look at it. I mean, you talk about defensively, and then, Wilson stays down, doesn't go for the fake. Gets a hand up on the shot, makes him take a tough fadeaway jump shot. I mean, that's everything you want to do when he makes a play.
Well, now Bogavats will go to the free throw line where he is just hit on 52%. Young man. Bogavats from Montenegro played the last 2 years in what's called the Adriatic Basketball Association. He's made 12 starts, average riding around 25 minutes per game. Season 3 of CW Sit Series returns this month. He's a cop, she's a cop, but together, unstoppable. Wild Cards, Monday, January 26th, 8 Eastern, 7 Central, right here on the CW.
You know what? I think that Bogavats is a guy that if he can get to the line like this and make free throws and get some sort of rhythm, it'll help his jump shot out.
to tie it up. Yep, hit them both.
This is where Trimble is so valuable. He can step up and guard Miller, pick him up full court.
Well, they better find somebody to start shadowing Corey Washington. That's his third 3 of the game.
And a decent three-point shooter at 36% coming in, but you have to change your game plan here a little bit defensively.
Trimble. He's hit a couple of them in the game, and Yugitolu rips away the rebound off the side of the backboard. That's a forced 3 there by Miller. Didn't have to, and Carolina back the other way, trailing by 3.
Vassar has just been out of sorts this afternoon. Not playing like he has up to this point in the season.
It's been a quiet day for B.J. Edwards until now. That's his first 3 of the afternoon.
But the guy has 5 assists and 3 rebounds, so doing it another way is...
Wilson draws a foul. He realized he needed to get the basketball. SMU start in the ACC.
I think Coach had some eggnog dumped on him last night in celebration. But yeah, I mean, last year, ACC championship game in football. Matter of fact, that was on the same day as their very first ACC basketball game against Virginia last year. I remember a lot of people they came to the game here, was an early afternoon game, and then got on planes and went to Charlotte to see that game. You know, and talking to people here in this athletic, they are so thrilled to be a part of the ACC.
Caleb Wilson, his first 2 free throw attempts, hits 1 of 2. It's a 5-point lead for SMU. Long way to go in this one. 15-40.
Washington back in the game. Let's see if he can pick up his production again in the second half. Really nice pump fake.
Boy, is he exciting to watch.
And the thing, you know, 6 foot, probably being generous with him. But the way he can get things off inside, the pump fake that time got everybody flying.
Should be noted, that's Stevenson's third.
Well, I think if you're Hubert Davis, that you're willing to go with him for an extended period of time with the 3 minutes. You want to try to save Vassar for as long as you can with his 3. But it's been tough for Vassar to get in any kind of rhythm today. He's been in and out of the games at foul issues, and he's looked out of sorts a little.
13 points for Boopie Miller, and the lead swells to 7 for SMU.
SMU's at their best when they've got 5 guys in double figures.
That'll be goaltending against Toombs. Give the bucket to Caleb Wilson.
You know what? You don't mind that. I mean, just to say, all right, I'm in here. You know, that shot was probably going in anyway. But Jaden Toombs, he had some nice minutes in the first half as well.
Sure did. Toombs came off the bench, had 5, made his first 3-pointer of the year. Very highly recruited player. Forced that one, and Stevenson a rebound.
Pretty good job by Trimble, who was giving away size and kept Toombs out of the lane.
So they're giving the ball to Wilson. He'll kick it out to Dixon for a 3-point try, and off the back iron.
I thought Wilson gave it up a little quickly that time. There were no double teams coming. He had a little more time to operate.
Oh boy.
Ankles.
Ankles is right. Then the dagger behind it. Man, he's fun to watch. Oh, crowd lit up over there when he got Wilson going to his backside and then knocks it in. Check this out.
Well, and it's been Caleb Wilson who's been doing this to other people, and it's just, I mean, he's so quick. He can stop and start as fast as anybody I've seen.
Young man out of Chicago, 2 years at Central Michigan University, then a season at Wake, and now back-to-back years as a leading scorer for SMU. Nassar, the head fake, as he's checked back into the games. Wilson is out.
Yeah, this is going to be a very short rest period, I think, for Wilson, maybe to get him under the 12-minute media timeout.
You know that guy.
Jermaine O'Neal, Junior's father, 18 years in the NBA, 6-time All-Star.
Big man.
But he was he was a stretch four before they, he made that transition and that position a thing.
Our distinguished director, Lonnie Dale, covered a lot of games with him in it. Nice feed into Tunes from Igatulo.
I tell you, the international bigs are pretty good, really good passers, especially out of the double team.
Nassar with a three.
Yeah, maybe that gets him settled in. He hit a three in the first half. Need him to catch fire.
He's got 8 points. And then at the other end, Edwards misses and Stevenson another rebound. Stevenson having an excellent game. And that guy is a leader. There might be other guys that score more, but he is the undisputed leader of this North Carolina team.
Well, and the thing, maybe what Hubert Davis is finding for Stevenson now, you get a 3-man rotation with Wilson and Vassar and him, because he's giving Wilson a little bit of a blow right now.
Story right now for SMU is Boopie Miller. He's got 19 to lead all scorers.
On just 10 shots. I mean, it's been so very efficient in this game.
Slick pass and going to the free throw line. Stevenson, Dixon on the feed. What's a lost start, that bounce pass, isn't it?
Here's the look, and just late getting out, getting over that screen. He's just seeing a big basket right now. He doesn't need a lot of space to get his shot off. Just a huge get for Andy Enfield last year when they got him in the portal from Wake Forest. Andy has ACC roots. Was on Leonard Hamilton's staff at Florida State for a while. Then Florida Gulf Coast, and the world changed for Andy Enfield.
Yes, it did. In 2011, when he took Florida Gulf Coast to the Sweet 16, left to go to the University of Southern California 7 times, 20-win seasons, 5 trips to the tournament. But then decided to leave there to come here when they joined the Atlantic Coast Conference a year ago. Trying to get Vassar, number 4. Igatulo just muscled his way in, and that's an offensive foul.
Yep, and that's a good call, too. And Igatulo actually dribbled himself into that foul. He had something right here. You see that left arm, right there, that hook and that clear out. You throw that thing 3 times, the referee is going to be forced to blow the whistle.
And they're going to go to the bench, SMU. It will be Sam Walters to replace Igatulo, who's talking that whistle over with one of the officials.
If that was in the European Cup and those two playing, that probably wouldn't have been called, but a little tighter officiating here in the NCAA.
All right, Carolina down by 6. Closest they've been in a while. Edwards getting after it, fighting there with Dixon. And the possession arrow will give the ball to North Carolina. And they're asking to get the floor wiped down here. Well, you still got Wilson sitting over there. What are you thinking offensively here?
Yeah, I mean it's kind of a mixed bag out there offensively, and he slipped right where they were wiping it up. But Stevenson may be a guy you get some touches with.
Dixon into the paint, the lob for Vassar. He's able to corral it in traffic, and he'll go to the free throw line. I think they got Walters on the foul, I think. So a timeout on the floor, 11:52 to go. This one getting tight.
They've done a nice job defensively on him. And the thing for SMU, North Carolina's kept them out of the open court, but they've been much better in the half-court execution.
Vassar, first trip to the free throw line. He'll shoot 2. Arizona transfer. I mean, it's amazing. We were asking Hubert Davis, did you expect this? And he said, yeah, I did. He said, and you never know that based on the numbers at Arizona. He said, but I've been very impressed with his leadership. Got them both.
Well, and he saw the skill set that he had. He knew that he was a good fit here. And I tell you, playing alongside a guy like Caleb Wilson really helps your game out a lot.
You're talking about a guy averaging almost a double-double. He averaged 8 points and 4 rebounds over 66 games at Arizona. Walters can shoot it, but that's his first try today and off the mark. At the other end, short.
That might have been a little bit of a quick jump shot by Jonathan Powell.
B.J. Edwards defended, now a switch. That's a really nice little stutter step there by Edwards.
Well, it's more open with Igutolo out of the game. There are more driving lanes, and just tonight he got his defender to stand up straight.
Trimble got it to go off the glass. Walters a foul, and the senior will head to the free throw line.
Well, here's the look on the other end first. A little stop and go, and that's again a tough cover for Stevenson. And then we talked about Trimble and how he likes to get in and draw contact and play inside. Terrific finish with that injured left arm. But I tell you what, it's plays like that that get you over the hurdle mentally from an injury. That you're like, all right, I can just react now. I can stop thinking about this thing.
It was a broken forearm for Trimble. It occurred during practice back in November. He came back against Ohio State in a thriller. They won by 1 point. He had 17 points. And since then, he's been in double figures every single game. It's his 108th game as a North Carolina Tar Heel. Rare indeed in this day and age. Little fadeaway. Are you kidding me? I mean, are you kidding me?
Why is anybody other than number 2 shooting for SMU right now?
All right, Wilson back out there. They'll need him down the stretch. They need this guy too. Short by Vassar.
Had a good look at it too.
That is such a slick back-to-back trips. Well, 2 out of 3 trips by Edwards.
No, it really uses his body well. Didn't have to elevate much on those last 2 shots, but able to get himself some room to score.
Under 10 to go, and SMU with an 8-point lead. Shot clock at 3. Bogovac, bang, answers the bell.
Wow, the shot clock on their back. That possession looked like it was going nowhere. Big confidence builder for him.
Second 3 of the game. Bogovac has 8. He was shut out 0 for 5 from the field in the win against Florida State.
Let's see how North Carolina does defensively with this big lineup, this big front line in there.
Forced 3 right there by Jaron Pierre. but he hustles back at the other end.
And the thing about it, I mean, you've got length for North Carolina, but Stevenson and Wilson both can guard out on the perimeter. You know, they've got some length and they've got size, but they can stay with guys.
It's interesting that with the size advantage, SMU has the most points in the paint in this game so far today. But the story so far has been the senior from Chi-Town, Boopie, lighting it up in every way.
Well, I'm going to say one thing. I'm going to hold judgment on numbers until halfway through the league season when teams are playing each other.
Yeah.
You know, you got to take into account unbalanced schedules and, you know, who's playing who in the non-conference. That being said, SMU has a lot of offensive firepower.
No doubt. Oh, boy, how about the block there? And a foul is called on the play. Or is it?
No, it's just going to be out of bounds.
I got you.
There's the. Actually, it works out to North Carolina's advantage. SMU had, with the jump ball, SMU had the arrow.
Stevenson has gone cold after an outstanding first half offensively for North Carolina. But they'll be leaning on Wilson and Vassar. That was a hold right there by Vassar on the jersey of Yigitulu and got away with it. Trimble goes coast to coast. He's bumped by Miller and will go to the free throw line. Boy, Vassar grabbed a hold of Yigitolo's jersey and nobody saw it.
Yeah, and it's a lot tougher to referee inside. Bodies inside for the referees. You don't get a lot of clean looks. Yeah, but that'd be a pass interference in football most of the time.
Yeah.
But that being said, those are shots. Yigitolo's had some good looks at the basket that he hasn't knocked down in this game.
Okay, here's been the money man in his second half for North Carolina. Has been Trimble. He's got 14 points, 7 in the first half, and another 7 through the first 11 minutes of the second stanza.
Well, and the other good thing North Carolina has, another team foul for SMU. Carolina's in the double bonus going forward. They only have 3 team fouls, so again, decent job of defending without fouling.
4-point game. See, neither team has been particularly good at the stripe. Edwards forced that, and then a save underneath the basket. Well done. Here by Pierre. Boopie, the alley-oop.
Pierre, not a junior on that play. We could be looking at a double-double for Boopie Miller, points, assists in this game.
Offensive foul against Wilson, and he knew it. This is like they used to flip him up there to the G-Man.
The game brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Progressive offers 24/7 protection when you bundle auto, home, and motorcycles. Learn more at progressive.com. And Boopie Miller, Tom, has been incredible. Shooting threes, getting into the rim, stealing the ball, getting out into the open floor, and oh yes, he's got 8 assists. That one on the last lob play.
Having said all that, we're under 8. North Carolina very much within striking distance.
And they've actually, and North Carolina has done a good job coming out of timeouts and carving into the lead a little bit.
Carolina with 4 players on the floor in double figures and another just a bucket away. Wilson has 11. 3-point try. That's been the story of this game so far. That's 11 3-pointers for SMU.
Yeah, and Corey Washington has been money in that game. 9 shots, 18 points. That's about as, I mean, their efficiency rating offensively is incredible.
And there's a travel. Bogovac picked up his dribble and had no one to get it to, surrounded by Yigitolu.
The only saving grace about that is it's a dead ball turnover and it doesn't hurt you in transition. You can get back and set yourself defensively, but That being said, we talked about SMU being better in the half court in this second half.
And you just wonder, as Mike brought up a little while ago, is Miller, oh my goodness, I mean, this has just been a clinic in every way conceivable shot made possible by Boopie Miller. 28-3, the Mustangs, going back to last year. If they put up 75 or more. And then at the other end, a big answer by who else? Seth Trimble. He's having a game.
As you said, I mean, that is not the strongest part of his game, but here this afternoon, seeing a big basket from three.
Hey, Trimble almost single-handedly is keeping him in it.
Yep.
Every time they need a big basket, he gets it. Pierre steps back, short, and right into the hands of Washington, and he'll go to the free throw line.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Tom, I mean, SMU has done as good a job on Caleb Wilson as I've seen a team do this year. He has been really quiet in the second half.
Lassar has just picked up his 4th foul. And he's been quiet too.
Yep.
I mean, you're talking about 45% of North Carolina's scoring, 47% of their field goals made, and 48% of their rebounding.
Well, it's been the bench that has really stepped up for North Carolina under these circumstances.
Washington transferred from Wichita State, 2nd team all AAC player a year ago. And he hits them both. He's got 20, Miller's got 23. And now it's a 10-point lead with 6:05 left. North Carolina work to do, but plenty of time. Wilson nearly gave it away, got it to Stevenson on a bounce pass and off the glass.
And actually his inability to handle that first pass helped him. The fumble, he was able to get to the other side of the rim and convert.
They got a mismatch now as Miller goes into the lane, kicks it into the corner for B.J. Edwards. That's 12 of 24 from three-point land for the Mustangs.
That covers a lot of sins, and they've been great finds too. A lot of them been out of drives into the paint area and then kickouts.
Seth forcing that one, and an 11-point lead with 5:05 to go.
SMU hanging in there on the boards with North Carolina as well.
Miller bumped as he tried to take it to the basket, but still not. Or will he say it's a shooting foul? It is. So Miller headed to the stripe where he's 2 of 2 and is a 92% free throw shooter. Miller last season led SMU in scoring, assists, and steals. He's doing the same again this season, but even better in every category.
Yeah, it was interesting. Yeah, Bassar's coming into the game. I saw him get up and then go back to the bench, and Hubert Davis going to take a little bit of a gamble with him.
Miller got them both.
Right, and for this possession anyway, maybe try to get, going down the other end, Yugatola a touch. Just a giveaway foul.
And that'll be the 10th. So now it will be the double bonus the rest of the way for North Carolina. And look, with 4:50 left to play, that can get you some points and get you closer in a hurry.
Well, and more importantly, slowing the game down, making it a little bit more ugly.
Trimble 1 of 2 at the line, 78% on the year.
it really shows the work that he's put in during this time when he was injured. I remember going to games up there and seeing him in the, before anybody else got to the gym, going through workouts.
He's just a really good player who, as you mentioned, through his 4 seasons at North Carolina, backup, valuable 6th man his sophomore year, a starter last year on a guard-dominated team. Washington again, and again, nothing but the bottom of the net. That's 5 3-pointers for Corey Washington.
His worst shooting has come from the free throw line. This is the only place he's been a liability. And outstanding.
Trimble will go to the free throw line, and Washington can't believe he's whistled for the foul, but he is. Yeah, Washington is 5 of 7. He has 2 misses from 3. He is 4 of 7 from the line.
But that's his 4th personal foul as well. So, that's going to be a number we need to look at as well going down the stretch. And it's going to be who's going to pick up the 5th foul first.
Boy, Trimble now has missed 3 of 5 from the line. And Carolina needing these points with the clock stopped, trailing by 15.
Well, 10 of 16 now from the free throw line on the road. It's a lot of points to leave out on the floor.
SMU 86, North Carolina 72. Full court pressure by the heels, and Miller blows right through that.
Just a one-man press breaker. Now SMU will be shooting 1-on-1s.
Now the freshman Toombs will check back in. I'm sure they're going to start doing some.
Yep, offense for defense.
Yep, get Washington out of there, and he's headed for the bench. He'll be right back in.
But interesting, you take a 3-point shooter out and you bring in Toombs, a big body to play on the defensive end of the floor.
That's about the only thing that's gone wrong for Miller today. I mean, the ball came over to Jaminski when he threw it out of bounds, and much like his Duke days, he never gave it back to anybody.
For the stay, and it's been the play all right. It's been the 3-point play of SMU, and 13 of 25 on the game, just outstanding. It's been a variety of guys who have stepped up. They've had 4 or 5 different guys knock down threes. Mr. Washington primary among them. 34% not bad on the year, but 52% is going to win a lot of games.
And overall in the game, SMU is shooting 58%. North Carolina had held opponents on the year to 36% shooting. And Bassard. That's good ball movement right there. Yugitolu to the freshman.
Again, against the press, ball didn't hit the floor very much. And this has just been an impressive, still a bunch of time to go, but what an impressive showing for SMU.
Down to 3:10 left, and SMU enjoying a 14-point lead.
And the crowd finally appreciating what their team is doing. They've been a little quiet this afternoon. But
well, a lot of North Carolina fans here today.
Yeah. People in the state of Texas, they don't get to see their Tar Heels much.
And, of course, the students are out of school, as they are in virtually every school. Many universities across the country come back day after tomorrow, returning from Christmas break.
And normally, plus you had SMU play a bowl game last night, so that was, taking attention away. And normally, for a road team, it's a good opportunity to play a team when their students are on break, so you don't have to face that part of the crowd.
All right, we got a timeout on the floor. 2:53 to go. A lot of the families and friends of some of the players.
He's challenging the out of bounds ruling on the floor of Mustangs ball.
All right, so we have our first challenge of the game. For those of you wondering about that, basically it works the same. Challenge is a word more familiar used in football, where on a play like this, on a play where a ball's knocked out of bounds, could be a goaltend, could be a charge inside the lane, you're allowed to basically appeal the call. So this was a call on the floor. Last touch by North Carolina. That's a ruling on the floor. Carolina challenging that. You have to have a timeout to do it.
That's going to be upheld. It looked like Trimble was the last one to get a finger on that right there. It's a little tough. That first angle was a better look at it.
So you have to have a timeout, and basically if you win the appeal
or win the challenge.
The challenge is unsuccessful. 7 was the last one touch the ball.
Yep. So now you lose a timeout, and you lose the ability to challenge again. If you win your challenge, you keep the timeout, and you keep your ability to challenge again later in the game.
But and I think the end result of that is that the games have been a lot quicker. You don't see teams, they're not using that in the first half. You know, you're going to sit on it and wait for now.
That means North Carolina has one timeout remaining over the final 2:53. This is a veteran Mustangs team. They've got leadership that returns from last year, and guys like Edwards and Miller and Yigitolu, as there is Boopie Miller yet again.
Well, and you hit that's an important point. You talk to coaches, and if they can keep the core of their team together from year to year, that's a huge bonus. And those 3 that you listed were the heart of this ball club from last year. So you fill in around them.
And there's a 3 by Stevenson. 13-point game.
How about Caleb Wilson? 11 points, 3 in the second half. He has been very, very quiet.
You know, and sort of to expound on what you were just saying a minute ago, and look, nobody knows for sure what Caleb Wilson is going to do at the end of the year. You can talk about the one and done and go on and on. I say let him enjoy his freshman year and worry about it. But just the point to back up what you're saying is, you know, if Nassar and Wilson are the 2 best players on this Carolina team, and then you have the senior in Trimble, there is a chance that, you know, if you're Huber Davis, you're looking ahead next year, and you might not have any of the 3. You know you're not going to have Trimble.
Well, but to that point, neither of those 2 bigs were here last year. You know, so
sure.
You sort of incorporate them right out of the chute.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough in this day and age with the transfer portal and guys who come in, and the freshmen that we've seen around the nation, especially here in the ACC. Nassar fouled on the arm. Good call. Yigitolu got it.
Well, and the thing, too, that you really have to change the way you judge coaches and the job they do. I mean, it's not like you can build a program and keep the wheel turning all the time. So the athletic director and those people have to look at it a little bit differently as well.
Just saw 90-plus points. Ho-hum, that is nothing new. Averaging 91 a game, 15th best in the NCAA, second best in the ACC.
They're legitimately going to look at 100 in this game,
which SMU has already done, incidentally, 4 times this season.
Yeah, but against the number 12 team in the country.
We've seen some of the great comebacks in basketball, college basketball history, delivered by North Carolina teams through the years.
One of the few turnovers they've gotten off that press, and Wilson gets in the scoring column. There's just been nothing on the back end of it, though, once as SMU is able to get past the front court.
Trimble hangs in the air, was looking for a foul, claims he was hacked on the arm there. And now with 1:15 to go, the celebration begins in Dallas, Texas.
Pretty good night, afternoon for this athletic program.
Well, look, in the short tenure of Andy Enfield, this is without a doubt. As Toombs going to fire up the three and knock it down to get him to 97. This is the biggest win Enfield has had so far.
Oh, no question. No question. It's just a really good game plan against the big guys up front. We were concerned about maybe a lack of depth there for SMU, but Bassar, Wilson have been neutralized.
And, you know, you look at some of the other players in this game. You know, we talk so much about Miller, and he's been incredible. Mack is a top 38 player nationally. He played high school just down the road with Jermaine O'Neal Jr.
Well, and the thing you like about him, his size. He's 240. He's got an older body, not a thin freshman coming in.
Well, North Carolina did not lose a single game in the month of December. Their only loss was at the end of November, just after Thanksgiving against Michigan State.
And SMU had to ramp it up. They played they played a football schedule. They played once a week for the whole month of December. So this is a terrific momentum builder.
Well, this is a team that had its chances in a lot of big games last year. Had a good team. They won 24 games, got to the NIT. And Miller lost track of time, or couldn't get a shot off once Wilson picked him up. But, you know, look, they got to the second round of the NIT, got beat here at home against Oklahoma State. Thought for a while they had a shot at the NCAA. And now this game, it doesn't put them in a tournament by any means. We got a lot of basketball to go, but it's a nice first step.
Well, but it looks awfully good sitting there on the resume as far as January is concerned.
It's been a long time.
And frankly, they were 19-5 last year. Boopie Miller gets hurt, and that's where they slid some and never really regained NCAA tournament consideration. But this signature win for Andy Enfield.
And take a look at that. You got to go back to 2022, the last time the SMU Mustangs beat an AP-ranked team, and North Carolina came into this game ranked number 12 in the country. So SMU goes to 12-2, North Carolina 13-2. SMU 1-0 in the ACC, North Carolina 1-1 in the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Yeah, and really a great game plan and a defensive job against one of the best players in the country, and Caleb Wilson really kept him down. And frankly, the points that he did score, Tom, were very, very tough.
Yeah, he came in averaging 20 points and 11 rebounds. He had 13 points and 7 rebounds. Boopie Miller going to join us on the other side of this timeout. SMU, a big win today.